$40 can get you a lot of video game for your buck, or if you lived in 2008, it got you this. NFL Tour is one of the most soulless games I have ever played. It is so devoid of content that if you told me this game was supposed to be developed for an arcade cabinet at a dive bar but was accidentally ported to PS3 and Xbox 360, I'd probably believe you. NFL Tour feels like a generous demo disc, like if you got this with your taco, or your burger, or your Chipotle burrito, you'd feel pretty good about this. You can play as all 32 NFL teams, and you can even make your own character in the tour mode. But once you choose one of the 40 heads available to you and plop your generic created character onto a team of your choice, the entire game is the same game of football over and over and over and over again on multiple fields that look almost identical to each other. There is no player development as far as I can tell, no unlockables, no depth whatsoever. This game may as well not even exist. In fact, as a slap in the face to the buyer, on the main menu under Extras, there are previews for other games EA wanted you to buy, almost like a, bet you wish you were playing Madden now, huh? I'm not going to compare this game to NFL Street, a series near and dear to my heart because there is nothing to compare between the two. One game series is a well-fleshed out group of games with plenty of content and variety. The other is a glorified tech demo / money down the drain. It is insulting. I go years without playing NFL Tour, but it sits on my shelf staring at me like maybe, if I just gave it a chance, maybe things would be different. But each time I come back to it, I remember why this game is such a waste of time and space. The Nintendo Wii had Madden with All Play Mode, a game mode that waters down the entire Madden experience to a few motion control prompts and single button inputs in order to make the game more approachable to casual audiences. The Xbox 360 and PS3, on the other hand, got NFL Tour, a game with such half-baked and bland controls that it may as well play itself. See, NFL Tour's gameplay is so diluted that you have to go deep into the menus to get it to function even remotely like a competent football game, which it isn't. If you don't change the control scheme, you have to bust down blocks with motion control prompts, yes, with the DualShock 3, and cycle through wide receivers with circle before throwing to them with the X button. It's like they're trying to teach you how to look at your reads and throw to the most open player, but it's a terrible system. You could just look at players and decide who's open without having to shuffle through them. Luckily, you can change the layout to a classic mode where you throw to a receiver with a specific symbol over their head like a normal game, and also turn off motion controls. But once you do this, this game becomes this repetitive exercise in send all players deep and bomb it down the sideline. That's it. You're going to pick up tons of yards almost every play. The moment-to-moment pursuit of the ball carrier is a test in patience because it is an inept, reflexive response system. Instead of every other football game where you essentially do moves to juke, spin, stiff arm, the main way you do anything in this game is wait until a defender tries to tackle you, and then wait for a button prompt to appear and hit it to break the tackle. It's all quick-time events. Sure, you can try to throw a stiff arm, and sure, maybe you'll get lucky every now and then, but if you don't time it right and try to stiff arm, you might engage a defender and hit the button too early and guarantee you're tackled immediately. Players have no weight or momentum, and outside of speed, no stat matters. Drew Brees at no point in time could stiff arm other players, but he can here. Actually controlling the players feels hollow, especially when they fly through the air in slow motion and stop on a dime when tackled. It's bad. The presentation of the game is also terrible. There is no excuse for having every field look almost identical, especially if they were going for an arcadey, fun style. Madden can only do so much because it's based on realistic stadiums, but when you're making an entirely new game, go nuts with it. No game on the PS3 or Xbox 360 has any reason for adding Mario 64-ass 2D trees, but here they are in all their Wii Sports-ass glory. Player models are bad and everyone is clearly based off the same couple of standard bodies with faces glued on them that look like they were drawn from memory. Also, somehow Trey Wingo got attached to this project as the only way to connect the NFL Tour to the actual NFL. The only issue is he's a lone commentator who does not commentate, but rather spews out the same bad, self-loathing lines over and over about how mediocre video game announcers are.
My contract specifically stated only a certain number of lines, and then you get the same stuff over and over again. So, hey, does anyone know where I can pick up some good fishing lures out there? Maybe a spinner, something?
It almost feels like a performance art project where Trey Wingo locked himself in a room with a green screen and a ton of peyote and went nuts for a weekend while trying to launch a comedy career. And guess what? That's all there is to the NFL Tour. Outside a couple of different exhibition modes and 2 random mini-games, there's nothing else to it. This game could pass as a PS1 game, forget the PS3. And even then, the lack of content would be a joke. It could have been a bonus game mode in a different football game, it's so simple. It is the definition of mediocrity. It's not even bad enough to play with your friends for giggles. It's nothing. It is the bare minimum for a football game. It is the NFL equivalent of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. But hey, at least the licensed music is acceptable with its mix of emo punk and more emo punk. In fact, I felt so bad that I even played this, that I needed some kind of beacon of light, that I made a Spotify playlist with all of the songs in it from the game. So, link in the description if you want that. Have fun with it. Anyway, sorry this video is so short, but I have covered literally all there is to cover. It's bad. It's really bad. I cannot believe this game was $40 when it came out. The audacity to rip people off like this is just so EA. Ugh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you played this, let's talk about it. I'm gonna get a lot of people who liked this game at some point really coming at me for this, but I can't even imagine what you can defend about it. There is nothing. There's nothing to this game. So, if you like the video, leave a like on it. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to it, but I really can't say anything about NFL Tour that I haven't said already. There's just nothing to it. There's nothing. Anyway, see you next week.